Alright folks, well I'm about to strip off soon and join the water. Does life get any better than this? This is really going to keep my wife happy because well, good morning folks. So this weekend, Easter weekend, it'll be a while before this video comes out. I'm on Great Barrier Island and come over here to catch up with my daughter and her partner. Went out fishing yesterday, had a very successful afternoon. So yeah, just having a great time. But now it's time that I get out and actually have a bit of a hike and record something for you. So I've done the Aotea Track before, and it's the circuit, a 3-day circuit around the centre of the island. But today I'm only allowed to go on for a day hike. So I'm going to head into what they call Windy Canyon. I'm probably going to be out for, well, let's just say I'm going to be out for 8 hours, shall we? So come along with me and I'll show you quickly what I'm taking for a day pack only, and we better get into this. And even though it's a day walk, I'll always take my PLB. If you saw my kaweka, you'll understand that maybe I'm looking at an inReach. Always take my first aid kit for cuts and abrasions, and there are medication in there for painkiller. I'm not too sure about the water condition, so I'm going to take in 2 bottles. I could probably just take in the one and fill up at Mt Heale. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just in case I do get caught out, I have always got an emergency bivvy bag. I seem to be requiring my glasses a lot more these days in order to read my maps. For you guys, I've always got my camera gear, charging batteries. I'm currently charging up my amazing Phoenix 6 watch at the moment, and today I'll be just using my one hiking pole, being the MacPack A3 Trekker, and all of that goes into just a little day bag. We are here, so this is at the Windy Canyon, or the Palmer's Track, and what I'm going to do today, starting here, I'm heading down Palmer's Track to Mt Heale. I'll probably fill up with water there. Then I'm going to head down the Peach Tree Track. I could either come down the Hot Springs Track, I did hear that that was closed, or come along the tramway track, and then I'm going to go along this forest road and then come out to here, and probably I'm going to have to hitchhike back to Claris. So this will just be a day trap. Not actually too sure how long this is going to take me. I'm going to say I'm going to allow for a good 8 hours, and maybe only, I don't know, I'm thinking up to 15 kilometers, but I've got enough food and I've got the fitness. So look, I better go and show you a toilet. Always good to have a good dunny shot. They're really nice too. How's it going, folks? So look, I'm on my way to Mt Heale Hut. The track has been absolutely amazing. You could quite easily do this at night. There's quite a few steps though. You might want to bring a pole. Personally, I find it a little bit of an annoyance. I don't normally use a hiking pole. Look, the structure I'm looking at right now, so it's this H-frame that they used to use for hauling the kauri timber from one side over the ridge line over to the next, and they would have had a pulley system up off this log to keep the cables off from scraping over the apex. So yeah, probably what put Great Barrier on the map was actually the amount of kauri that they pulled out of here in the 19th and 20th century. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Just a wonderful, wonderful track. Just coming up on the intersection to the Mt Heale Track is that way, but I'm just popping up to the summit, which is only 2 minutes up here. This is Mt Hobson. Mt Hobson is the highest point on the Great Barrier, and me and the lads did this some 5 years ago. I think we called it geriatrics or something. Had a great time. So I've actually done the Aotea Track, and that's part and parcel why this time I'm just trying out Palmer's Track and then heading and walking out down to Claris. Anyway, we should be at the summit soon. It sounds like there's a few people up here already. How's it going, folks?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good.
Quite the climb.
Okay, guys, it's Claggin. So we're at 627 metres. That's Mt Heale just down there in front of me. The hut will be down there 45 minutes away. Just a piece of history. They really thought that the Japanese were going to come and invade New Zealand, and that they were going to use this as a staging post, because Great Barrier has got a really deep import, and as you know, down in Claris it's actually got an airfield, so they thought this was going to be where the Japanese were going to invade, and as a result they sent 700 troops over to the Great Barrier Island. How amazing is that? But anyway, it, as you know, never happened. So Great Barrier is the 5th largest island in New Zealand. I can't pronounce that one over there. What's the name of that one? Little Barrier.
Yeah.
From the mouths of babes.
It's Little Barrier Island.
I'll trust him on that one, shall we? And just a little bit further on is the intersection for the Aotea Trail. So if you wanted to go to Mt Heale, and that's where I'm heading past, you'd go this way, 45 minutes. Or if you wanted to go around the circuit, you'd come from this way. According to me, from the Aotea Road coming up Palmer's Track, it's 2.3 k's. So I've done a lot of videoing, a lot of photography, and a lot of talking up on the summit here. But my watch would suggest that I've gotten up from Aotea Road to the Mt Hobson in around about 1 hour 30. But I've been doing a pretty leisurely walk with all the videography. So yeah, so I'm just heading down to Mt Heale Hut now. More steps. We'll catch you soon. Been here something like 5 years ago with the boys. It's a beautiful hut, this one. I think it accommodates something like about 20 or so bunks. and when I looked online it was completely booked out. Me and the boys climbed that last time we were here. Yeah, stunning place to stay. I've just left Mt Heale Hut. Beautiful hut. It was supposed to be completely booked out last night according to online bookings, but apparently it was so rough coming across from Auckland that the ferry was cancelled, so there was a lot of spare beds apparently. I'm just heading down towards the springs. The next intersection I think is something like around about an hour away. This is called the Peachtree Track. Look, so far it's just been an absolute delightful hike. I hope you're enjoying it too. So that's Mt Hobson there. Just come off that. That's Mt Heale, so the hut's just up in here. In the distance, the airport, that's Claris. That's where I'm heading, so I'm heading over to Claris, so I don't know, 10-15 kilometres, it's not far. It's a gorgeous day for it. And just a few more steps. It's really good training, I'm really enjoying it. We're just coming down now to the intersection of the start of the Peachtree Track. It does say that intersection I was at before is an hour 30. Admittedly, that's going uphill. It's only taken me an hour coming down and around about 2.6 kilometres. I'm now heading off to the Kaitoke Hot Springs, allegedly 45 minutes away, and then I will continue on to Whangaparapara. Over here, so in this spot here, there used to be a ferry back in 1933, and mum and daughter used to cook 3 meals a day for the Kauri timber workers that were here, so that they had a decent feed. So this is a tramway track. You can see it coming from this direction through to here, and seriously, this has just been a bit of a doddle today. Kind of almost feeling like the day's over before it even started. So we'll continue on down to the springs and we'll catch you there. We're coming down the tramway now and to the next intersection. If we carried on, we go to Whangaparapara. So that was where the really big mill operated to take out all the kauri. And I've just come from that intersection, so 30 minutes. I don't think it took us that long. But we're heading off to the Kaitoke Hot Springs, and that's only another 15 minutes away, so not too far. And then the road end is an hour past that. They have all these little markings, so you kind of know you're still on the right track. Yeah, stunning So we're now in some kind of Nikau palm grove. How amazing is this, eh? Oh, just for good measure, I've thrown in a few steps just so as to remind you what you've come from. How considerate of Doc. Just coming down now to the Kaitoke Hot Springs. Last time it was just in the river, so I don't know whether or not to put tubs here. You can hear some voices, so bound to always be somebody here. And yeah, gratefully we've got some more steps to navigate. Anyway, let's see what we've got. Okay guys, Kaitoke Hot Springs. Is the water hot?
There's like it's warm, nice and warm here.
Yeah.
A bit further up it's hotter,
Sweet.
and then even further it's cooler again. So
Oh, so I just want to go up a little bit further then.
yeah,
You can find a decent spot anywhere along here. It's all very nice. The temperatures differ though. Good day, Bright.
I'm just down here at the Kaitoke Hot Springs and I've caught up with this handsome young man and he reckons he knows me because he's following my channel and he even knows my son. So this is Vinny.
Hey guys. Yeah, just walking along the Aotea Track and came across this good-looking fella with a nice little setup with his camera and all, and thought I recognised him. So
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you, Dave.
So you've just been hanging out at the hot springs?
Oh, it's been a few hours that we've been here.
Oh, okay.
Last day, so we're just about to get out.
Okay. Oh, lovely. All right, folks. Well, I'm about to strip off soon and join the water.
Awesome.
Catch you soon. So this is still the Kaitoke Hot Springs and there's just all these poles everywhere. It's just a matter of deciding where you're going to stop. Does life get any better than this? Well, yeah. My wife could be here with me. So the spring must be like just here, so it's super hot coming through here, and then it's got this cold water on the outside that's mingling into this pool. She's hot. Anyway, we won't be here too much longer. Was the Kaitoke Hot Springs and finished up there, and you get some toilets here, so the only thing you don't get is cold beer. But anyway, look, so I'm just heading down to the main road now, and this is the track you'll come in on. You could easily come in on here at night. That's the easy part of it out of the way, I think. So we've just come down from up here. A nice little soak down here in the springs. But carried on out to this wetland, but now it's time to get some real work done. So I can see some elevation over here, another 400 meters. It's about time this guy started getting some hiking in, eh? So we're going to head down the road now, find where the start of this track is, and then we're going to start heading up to around about 400 meters. Carry on watching now, and I'll bring you back when we get to the intersection. Let's see what this is all about. Whew, I do like alleyways. Oh, it's going nowhere. Okay, so this is a stamper mine. Maybe way back as early as 1892. It only worked for 2 years, that's really common. So it looks like it finished by 1933. And the wall that we're looking at must be this thing here. So that wall is this wall here. How amazing are the men of old, eh? They just made incredible structures. So I've been doing a bit of reading and I've got the oil on this. This location is actually what we call, it's almost like Oreville. So there was actually a village here of 400 people. This stamper actually employed 115 people alone. And they took out something like 1,300 kgs worth of either silver or gold. But sadly it seemed that the seam was going down in a diagonal, and it just became too hard to extract. It is possible to probably do that with open cast mine like they did at the Martha mine Waihi, but yeah, it only lasted about 2 years. So this was the biggest I guess mine stamper for the Great Bear Island. So just a bit of history for you. I know a lot of people today, and I'd be interested to know your thoughts. I mean, sadly a lot of people today are using their measuring stick to judge something that happened like 100 years ago or even longer. I mean, we need to remember that the removal of the kauri, which ended up being used for the British masks, and the Sydney houses after their Great Fire, created an awful lot of industry and kept people fed in what would have been very, very difficult times. It's very easy to judge today, given our easy lifestyle, and if you're an individual that's not actually prepared to work, then there's this thing called a government that will just look after you, where in the old days they never used to have that, and so you just had to do what you had to do in order to feed your family and get by. So be very slow to judge people of 100 or so years ago with the same measuring stick that you would use today, particularly if you're one of those people that don't tend to like going to work. Anyway, I'm just going to have a boring walk up this road and try to find this track, and I'll come back to you. Keep on watching now. Final stretch. It's about an hour to the summit of Te Ahumata, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then another hour down to the road at Blind Bay. But there's a mine in the middle, so depending how my day's going, I might go down and explore that as well. Follow me and we'll finish off the last of this great walk, Great Barrier Island. Thanks for watching now. So far the track is pretty much like this. It's it's like a main highway again. So yeah, it's a mountain bike track. It would be pretty cool to come through here on a mountain bike. Right, So my escape route is only 45 minutes down to Blind Bay Road. And the summit is another 30 minutes up. So it's 30 minutes up, 30 minutes down, plus another 45, plus exploring the mine, so 2 hours. So that would stick me bang on 5:30. Oh, I do like a good summit. Track's still going. I'll carry it up here. I think we're just about at the top. It's about 400 meters, so it's 400 meters. Oh, I just don't get it. In looking for this disused mine, my navigator puts me right over top of the X, but yeah, unless it was a vertical drop mine and it's been filled in. It's the only thing I can think of. So there's this thing here. Maybe this was it here. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit ripped off. Anyway, I better head back before I lose too much light. Well, it's been a great day. Look at this views. We just don't get this in the Waikato. Ah, I could almost live here, but it's just so expensive to get across to the island. And whilst we've got one daughter here at the moment, she's not likely to stay. So yeah, it's back to the mainland in a couple of days. But yeah, it's been a wonderful day. I've just really enjoyed it. There's hardly anybody around. It's great. The tracks have been very well maintained. It's not like being up on Parongia where you're slipping and sliding the whole time. The tracks are really nice and dry. This is about as bad as it gets. And that's not too bad. So we've been up there and now we're heading out over there somewhere. So I'll catch you at the intersection where it said at Bay Road, and then 45 minutes down to it. See you soon. So I've just come out of the Te Ahumata Track. I met a lovely family about 15 metres up the track, and they sort of suggested that if I waited at the bottom, that they would take me through to Claris, and that's exactly what I think I'll take up on. So they're probably not too far away behind me now. In fact, I can hear them. So look, that's been a pretty big day for me. That represents, I think it's something like about 9 hours of hiking. But it's only something like about 15 hours, 15 kilometres in total. And here they are now. So look, thank you so much for watching. You know what to do. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you add a comment. So here we are, folks, back at my accommodation. And I ended up getting a lift by that lovely family. So this is really going to keep my wife happy, because after what happened at the Kaimanuas and the Kawekas, my wife and I sort of came to this agreement that I'm going to have to start learning how to get a hitchhike back to base, and that's exactly what's happened today. So thank you once again so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next adventure whenever that might be.